And throughout this video, I'm going to give you 7 reasons why sexual sin is ruining your life. And if you're not careful about these things, or you don't know about them, which is even more dangerous, it's going to be not only easy for you to fall into this cycle, but to stay there for a very, very long time. So reason number 1 is that it perverts your thoughts. And this is shown in Matthew 5 verses 27 through 30. In the first part of it, we see that Jesus is saying that we have heard that it was said to us that we shouldn't commit adultery. And what he's doing in this verse is he is challenging the thought that adultery is something that is only committed when it's done in the physical act. But what Jesus also says is that whoever looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So that means that you could be committing adultery through the way that you look at a woman. That's how serious it is. And this verse clearly highlights that we shouldn't even look at a woman with that type of intention, with that type of desire. And then he goes on to say in the next verse that if your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. So what this verse is saying is that you should prioritize cutting lust at the root before it has a chance to really grow. And this is important because if you do that, you'll have a lot better chance of success. Because more times than not, when men fall victim to their lust, it's because they have allowed and fed it subconsciously through their minds, through their thoughts, through their words, and through their actions, that now it's just this big battle, this big demon that they just can't take. They are overtaken by it. Number 2 is going to be you are spending your strength on women. So the Bible tells us in Proverbs 31 verse 3, do not spend your strength on women, your vigor on those who ruin kings. It seems that since the beginning of time, I mean, we can go back to Samson, we can talk about David. The biggest downfall of men is more times than not a woman. So you have to be very careful about the women that you allow yourself to fall in love with and to become attracted to. You are going to attract women who just want to use you, women who just see you as a benefit. And when the well runs dry, they're just gonna leave. I've had personal experiences with that too. I'm telling you, it's not a good feeling. Making that wrong decision, it can ruin you. And you are a king. If you are willing to deny yourself and be able to go along this journey, along this process, you are a king. You have the mindset of a king, and you have to protect that at all costs. And that especially comes through the relationships that you have with women. So you can tread, but tread very carefully. All right. So number 3 is going to be that it kills your self-control. So we see in Proverbs 25 verse 28, like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control. How can you as a man expect to be able to control anything in your external circumstance when you can't even control anything within your internal circumstance? It starts from within. So if you don't want to be a person who lacks self-control, and because he lacks self-control, life is just walking all over you, learn to have some self-control so that you can control the external circumstances of your life to some degree. Let me ask you a very, very personal question. How many times have you gone on the websites? How many times have you been looking around and sleeping around with women? And it seems that no matter how many videos you watch, no matter how many women you sleep with, no matter how many experiences you have, it just never feels like enough. It never satisfies you. Well, that's because it clearly says in the Bible right here that death and destruction are never satisfied, and neither are human eyes. No matter how many videos, no matter how many women you could sleep with, it will never be enough. So always focus on your spirit above all else. Number 5 is you're only hurting yourself. You are damaging yourself. You are messing yourself up. And you will feel the effects of that, not just physically, but you're going to feel the effects of that spiritually. It affects you mentally. It messes with your self-esteem. It messes with your self-image. That's why you have this common thing of post-nut clarity. That's why that's such a common thing, because you're going to realize what you're doing, especially after it's been fully conceived, after you have fully released you, is going to hit you that you are just screwing yourself up. You're messing with your body for the simple fact that you believe that is going to give you some type of temporary pleasure, and that's not good. That's not profitable to you in the end. It's not, because you're not going to feel the sensation that you got from that release a day from now, 2 days from now, it's not gonna last. It lasts for, let's be real, maybe a couple minutes. If you're lucky, maybe more. For the most part, it's just a coming and going, a very swift coming and going. Always remember that when you're about to commit that sin, when you're about to go back to watching the websites, when you're about to go back to your sneaky link's house, that girl that you ain't got no business doing anything with, when you go to lay down with her, understand that you are only hurting yourself, and you're only going to be hurting yourself in the end. And be mindful about that the next time you are presented with the temptation to go back to sexual sin. Number 6 is going to be that it is vomit. You have already decided in your mind that it's not something that's good for you. It's not something that you want to do. So why do you continue to return to it? In Proverbs 26:11, it clearly highlights this, as it says, as a dog returns to his vomit, so fools repeat their folly. You have to understand that we as humans, we are animals in ourselves. We have a very real animalistic nature within us from the day we are born, from the day we are conceived. And it is our job as we grow older and as we grow wiser ultimately to be able to control this animalistic side of us as much as possible. And I also want to add this in for anybody who again may be struggling. Paul highlights this struggle, saying, look guys, I'm struggling in myself. I'm struggling to do the things that I really want to do because the things that I genuinely don't want to do continue to consume me. And it's a struggle, right? It's a fight. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It may not happen next week, it may not happen next month, but continue to keep the faith, continue to keep pushing, and you will experience the victory. And that's going to lead me to my next point, number 7, and that is that you are blocking your blessings. If you can overcome your sexual desires as a man, you can do pretty much anything. If you can overcome yourself, you can do a lot in this world, because a lot of people can't overcome themselves, and it's because they try to look for that strength within themselves and they just simply don't have it. But when you're on semen retention, you're no longer looking for the help in yourself. You understand that your help comes from the Lord. It comes from relying on his strength and relying on his help to get you through. When you are giving yourself into sexual sin, you are blocking, you are stopping yourself from progressing. Now, you are cutting yourself short when you are releasing your seed before it is time and before it is in the proper setting, in a proper manner, in a proper method. You are only selling yourself short. So stop selling yourself short. Understand that there's value in you. There's value in your seed. There's value in that life force. And once you value it to the highest degree, you can start to do some amazing things. With that being said, that's going to be it for this video. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for your time, for watching me. I genuinely appreciate it. Please make sure to hit the like button so that it can continue to reach more people. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more content just like this. If you are rocking with this content or you have any suggestions for any videos that you may want me to make sure to comment it down below and I'll make sure to respond to you. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one.